Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this session, I'm going to talk about the second fiction of third unit. This is second novel, Legal Alien. Okay, Legal Alien was written by Rutanj Crystal Butungi, and it's a novel. Crystal Butungi was born in Papua New Guinea. Okay, her family moved to Uganda when she was 8 years old. She had articles published in Destiny and the Christian Perspective. She was very good in writing creatively, which have been which became a hobby for her until she attended African writers. Trust a British Council workshop. Right now she is working for Modern Publishers, which is the former Macmillan Uganda, okay, as a company's customer and office administrator. Along with that, she is the editorial consultant for World of Inspiration and a copy editor for Reader's Cafe Africa. And this novel, Legal Alien, was written in the first person narration. Okay, the novelist itself, was narrating, and it was written in the autobiographical sense. Okay, but this story, she did, from Uganda, the writer who from Uganda, okay, and her family was moved to foreign countries when she was very young, and she got educated in the foreign land. After a few years, after many years, she gets back to her hometown. There, she finds in her homeland as strange or alien like that. So this is the main concept on which the story is focused. And like the idea of feeling which was alienated in her own culture, okay, the story raises the question as to what really is one's identity in the globalized multicultural world where so as the first person narrative, the author who wanted to share her struggle with barriers, and she starts by talking about a situation in present day which confronted her with a barrier, a language barrier. The language barrier is the main theme of the novel, the story. Okay, and this story took place around 2011, which revolves around the life of a young girl. Okay, who was in a small town in Uganda. She was originally from there, but for several years, she and her family moved away from Uganda to Australia due to a riot. Okay, because that time the president Amin was no longer president, and Heji Museveni who restored the peace. So her father, who suggested the family to go back, and they didn't have to be in exile anymore. Now they wanted to go back their hometown Uganda. So later, her father decided to go back to their country of origin for good. Okay. At the beginning of the story, the girl who is forced to go to a clinic in the village, to there, she was asked to, her papers to be done. She was asked to, to fill up the papers which she was given. There, on the behalf of her study, she was asked to complete several documents stamped, and which have her body checkup. And most important part is for the doctor to approve her medical form. But during the process of getting all her things done, she was faced with the several events that brings back her past memories about her former day in Uganda, and as she reminiscence it, she constantly comparing the experience to her experience in the foreign country, Australia. Okay, there she was staying for many years, right? And how she thinks that her Uganda days were a horrible experience of her life compared to those days when she was in Australia. See, Australia was, developed country where she spent her early days. There, she was able to get all the facilities. But whereas when she comes back to her hometown, she couldn't find the facilities which she was given in the Australia. Yeah, Australia was a developed country, whereas Uganda is not much developed as Australia. So in Uganda, she was not given all those facilities which she availed when she was staying in Australia. The portrayal of the nameless young girl, okay, which somehow creates a binary regarding the identity she thought she had in her and her origin identity that overlaps with each other. Not only that, she has to adjust with her new surroundings, but also with every other aspect which fills in the curve of her new environment, such as its culture and its language. So the young girl was the main character of the story, who unconsciously depicts herself as someone with a dissociative identity. So the specific thing is the language barrier, which is she faces at her homeland itself. And when she talks about the school, comparing the Australian school as well as Ugandan school, the overall experience at the school, which turned disastrous, as the author found the schooling experience totally different from that of Australia. Why? Because the size of school and the size of classrooms and teaching methods, the attitude of the teachers, and the sheer ignorance of the students regarding the outside world. See, and the most worst thing was the English teacher who started punish her when she found out she had not done her homework, right? And the teacher didn't have the patience to find out she was a new student, and which was her first day at school. Eventually, the author, who learned assimilate into Ugandan culture and society. The most important, thing which we should know that to learn the local language. Also, her classmates who started to talk and interact with her and were no longer scared of her. And initially, they scared of the girl, Ugandan girl. Okay, initially they scared of the girl. Okay, later they become close to her. However, the writer who decides to apply for a student visa to Australia to pursue her master's degree, as things still remain uncertain in Uganda. The author's social and cultural marginalization, which is not a new story. Countless immigrants, the entire novel, which focused saying that the girl who feels like she is alienated at her own, at her homeland itself. So particularly she is facing difficulties when it comes to the sense of language. So language barrier, that is the main focus about which the novel is focused. Well, that's it about the session. Thanks for listening my lecture and subscribe the channel.